All right, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is Mexican President Reverses Course After Trump Threat. Guys, I expected that. And keep this in mind here. Trump threatens a lot of people all day long here. And obviously, news is basically coming out that Trump, as I stated, and you guys basically came at me in the comments, okay, that Trump is basically just randomly threatening people. This is what he does. He threatens tariffs on places until they're like, you know what, we're going to go ahead and capitulate. That's kind of what I generally thought. And I'm glad, honestly, that is the actual true part of the things here, guys, because we seriously do not need to like bombard Mexico specifically with tariffs, knowing that we make a gigantic amount of things there, and the companies that are there manufacturing things for our usage are not going to come back to the United States of America. It would be great if they did, because obviously that would help our local economy. People's wages would definitely increase, but for the sake of business and gigantic corporate interests and things like that, they're not going to come back to the United States of America regardless of a tariff or not, guys. And I think that's just basically the reality. So I'm glad that word is basically coming out that a lot of it is just like posturing and threats and things like that. But let's continue. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Meanwhile, let's talk a little bit about this. Just a week after Donald Trump threatened 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada unless they stop the flow of migrants into the country. And we said, at the time, this is how he negotiates. This is, we'll never see the tariffs, but this is how he gets the people to the table. There are two developments, up north and down south. First up, it was just after the incoming president, Donald Trump, spoke on the phone to the president of Mexico, and they talked about some sort of an agreement on stopping the flow of people into the United States.
Did they?
Well, you know what happened? Mexico authorities that same day broke up 2 migrant caravans heading to the United States. And apparently on that same day, the migrants and the president of Mexico said that migrants and caravans will be taken care of before they reach the border. That is something new, and that happened after her conversation with Donald Trump. So,
guys, clap it up. Okay, just clap. Listen, it's okay. All right, just clap it up. All right. I mean, listen, I think this is what we needed. Finally, there is someone, in fact, trying to do something to kind of stop the gigantic movement of humans to our border, bro. All right. The majority of these individuals, we do know the numbers now. It is 80 to 90% individuals are not going to actually qualify for asylum. But yet the United States government is going to allow them into the country no matter what, until Congress basically does something about how asylum is basically being taken advantage of, guys. Right. So, yeah, listen, thank you. Thank you for this. In fact, Mexico, thank you. Seriously. All right, let's continue.
Regarding the South, that apparently is something new, and it was because of the tariffs.
So we were telling you all about these caravans. Last week, I guess, we were showing these images coming up to Mexico. They wanted to get here before Joe Biden is out of office. Well, now they're being stopped by the president of Mexico because Donald Trump won. Donald Trump has threatened her. Then she just put on social media, she said migrants and caravans are taken care of before they reach the border.
Wow, that's great news. They did have a difference of opinion on what went on in that conversation, on the tone and tenure, but Justin Trudeau made no mistake about it. They had a good conversation, he said, and I have a better idea. Why don't I come down over the weekend and come visit you? And next thing you know, the Canadians are cracking down there. They got $3.1 trillion worth of goods going back and forth. He's going to run for re-election in 2025. He can't have any type of trade war with the U.S. And they are concerned about the numbers crossing in their country. And he said, I do want to stop down the northern border. How do we do it? How do we work together? So at Mar-a-Lago, they seem to have worked it out. There was Senator-elect McCormick there, and Governor Burgum is going to be Secretary of
Security
Energy.
Advisor.
Yeah,
Waltz.
That's Mike Waltz. That's a pretty prestigious table. So now you have on both situations engaged, active, addressing.
Boy, did I miss this. Look, every country's leader is going to go back home and beat their chest, and because they don't want to appear weak. And this is what the Mexican president is doing. She's saying, look, the call went differently. I don't judge it by that. I judge by the action. And the bottom line is that the groups that are coming across have slowed down. They've been disbarred.
No, you can. I'm sorry, bro. You can definitely judge her by that. specifically if it's not true. Why would you want someone, running anything if they're just going to openly lie, right? Now, keep this in mind. I didn't hear the conversation. You didn't hear the conversation. One of them could be lying, specifically if they're coming from different stories, at least, right? So that's just the reality of the situation here. I'm just personally glad that something actually is finally being done, because I'm not sure the United States would ever allow a gigantic amount of people walking on our highways knowing specifically that they're going to break into the country of Canada. Okay. Now, the northern border is also a tricky thing, specifically when referring to Southwest Asians, guys. A lot of these individuals are coming in to the United States of America because it's easier to get to Canada, as in the numbers have like 10x, guys. We seem to be focusing a lot on the southern border, but the northern border is being bombarded pretty crazily because people are flying into Canada, all right, and just walking through New York, upstate New York, all right. So that's the thing.
They've been
the caravans.
The caravan.
Guys, if you actually see images of the border, specifically in upstate New York, you'll realize how irrelevant it is. It's basically, a bucket of concrete with a stick that says the United States of America. They're just walking through it, guys. Okay,
It's been broken up. So something happened over that phone.
And don't you think they watched?
Of
they
course.
watched America. I mean, he has a re-election
100%.
Trudeau, and don't you think he watched what happened here in America? He's like, wait a minute. That's why he did that video saying,
With a
I'm going to go
Trump-like
after
candidate.
immigration now.
Well, and the Canadian border minister told Bloomberg after the meeting at Mar-a-Lago, now Canada is going to devote more drones and choppers and staff to the northern border, our northern border, their southern border.
Mainly New York.
All because of the Trump tariff threat. That's all it took.
No, Steve,
it was just a threat.
This is just a coincidence.
That's a part.
This is just happening by chance. The phone call meant nothing. It has
meant a lot.
nothing to do with new administration coming in or not. I think this is a
meant a lot,
promise
actually,
made
guys.
and a promise kept.
beginning.
And remember, he said from the very beginning, some of this stuff was going to be done before he even took office. And all the pundits and commentators said, no, there's no way. He thinks that he can just pick up his phone and things get fixed.
He could.
Well, lo and behold, things have already started to happen before he actually has the power as president.
A couple of things in Springfield, Ohio.
That's actually valid. I mean, there are a lot of people who are, a lot of naysayers, let's say. But the issue here is that he did do this, guys. Specifically, if that's an issue, that matters to you specifically, then you'll realize instantly that he actually did this without even being a president. While Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have been in the White House for the last 4 years and basically have done nothing visible. They've done a lot. Keep this in mind here. I'm not going to sit here and take away from their accolades, specifically regarding the migrant crisis and migrant issues, but they went about it the way that the majority of Americans are not going to actually see. Okay, they basically funded gigantic programs in many of the places where the migrants are initially coming from. Those things matter, but the problem here is basically the people who were going to come, they were just going to come anyway, bro. All right, that's just a reality of the situation here. You needed to do what they were doing along with the southern border, not just leave the southern border basically open for any individual to just walk up to and step through, guys.
Now the Haitian migrants are beginning to go to sanctuary cities. Number two is there's been arrest of the Aurora Venezuelan gangsters in New York City. Why is that?
What's happening?
Yeah. So we'll see. Now suddenly it's not cool to be a gangster.
Right.
I'm Steve Doocy.
When was it? Okay, so here's a statement. He just mentioned that basically Tren de Aragua has been seen or spotted, let's say, in New York City. Bro, they have been in New York City. They're in every single state in our union, basically, other than probably Hawaii and Alaska, guys, right? You understand what I'm saying here? They are definitely in all the cities. So that's not anything brand new. If you guys have been following along, about, I would say maybe 6 months ago, there were a lot of like Tren de Aragua type scenarios that were happening in Manhattan. One regarding a kid who decided to basically open fire onto a crowd of, into a crowd of people, basically, when a police officer was chasing him. The police officer basically refused to open fire. Why? Because this is New York City and there are people on the street, right? And if the cop was to fire, then what would happen? They would fire more. So you want to stop this guy from firing. They basically ended up finding him in upstate New York. And that's basically the end of the story there. We find out that this is not the first incident that something like this happened. And the mother that was basically, I guess, had custodial guardianship of this kid, was basically fine with hiding them in closets and things like that. But yeah, there are a lot of issues here, guys. Tren de Aragua is definitely everywhere. But if you were able to actually get them specifically out of Aurora, right, that's a great thing, because they would definitely take it over like apartment buildings and things like that. That's not conducive to a just society, guys, basically. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. This is my lightsaber. Hey guys, you guys subscribe to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Oh, also, Mr. L. Boyd Discusses. Guys, check it out. And if you haven't heard it today, you're amazing.